Welcome back, space dreamers. Tonight, we journey far into the future, to a time when humanity has reached beyond the stars. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and let your imagination travel to the farthest reaches of humanity's ambition. Picture, if you will, a jewel in the cosmic crown, not of light, but of enduring shadow. A city vast beyond comprehension, yet nestled in the improbable embrace of a supermassive black hole. This is Kronos, humanity's improbable haven, circling a cosmic behemoth known only as Gargantua Prime. Feel the subtle, almost imperceptible shift beneath you, the gentle thrum of life support systems, the quiet hum that resonates not just through the structure, but deep within the bones of its inhabitants. Here, time itself becomes a melody, stretched and slowed into a profound, almost dreamlike rhythm. The vastness of space outside is not a dark emptiness, but a canvas painted with impossible physics, where the very fabric of existence bends and warps. Through the panoramic observation decks, one might glimpse the shimmering, ethereal glow of the event horizon, a cosmic horizon that promises both infinite wonder and ultimate oblivion. It is a sight that stills the heart, a silent testament to the audacious will that built this sanctuary in the very maw of the void. In Kronos, the days are measured not by the rotation of a distant sun, but by the stately, almost imperceptible journey around Gargantua Prime. Each cycle, each year, stretched to an epic length by the black hole's immense gravitational pull. Here, time isn't a relentless march, but a river flowing slower, allowing for deeper contemplation, for the meticulous tending of the city's complex, self-sustaining ecosystems. Imagine the gentle rustle of genetically engineered flora within vast biodomes, a whisper of life against the silent immensity of space. Feel the polished, cool surfaces of the city's thoroughfares beneath your bare feet, absorbing the faint vibrations of distant mechanisms. Look up into the immense, arcing ceilings that house entire districts, each a microcosm of humanity's resilience, lit by soft, internal glows that mimic a perpetual twilight. The inhabitants, born into this unique existence, carry an ancient calm in their eyes, a profound understanding of their place within this slowed, magnified cosmic dance. Their lives unfold with an unhurried grace, each moment savored, each interaction imbued with a quiet significance against the backdrop of eternity. The phrase, "thin the bones of its inhabitants," was not a curse, but a gentle descriptor of Kronos-born physiology. Here, gravity was an old whisper, not a demanding master. Generations in this soft pull had sculpted bodies into forms of delicate strength. Limbs were subtly elongated, joints moved with an ethereal fluidity, and every movement was imbued with a quiet grace. Their very senses had adapted, growing keener in the city's hushed environment. A child, no more than 6 cycles old by Kronos' stretched measurement, pushed off from a wall in one of the lower-level thoroughfares, not walking, but gliding, her small form, light as a feather, drifted along a polished path, a faint current of air her guide. This stretched perception of time profoundly shaped their relationship with Kronos' meticulously tended ecosystems. Within the great biodomes, which arced like miniature heavens above distinct sectors, life unfolded at a pace almost imperceptible to external observers. An elder, their skin a landscape of fine, contemplative lines, moved with unhurried precision through a field of luminous, genetically engineered flora. Each plant, a marvel of bioengineering, unfurled new leaves over weeks that would be considered full years elsewhere in the cosmos. The elder's fingers brushed a tendril that shimmered with an internal, cool cyan glow, feeling the slow, deliberate pulse of its growth. This patient tending, the quiet observation of life in its most elongated form, was a meditation. Yet, for all the introspection and internal harmony, the supermassive black hole, Gargantua Prime, remained the silent, colossal conductor of their existence. From the panoramic observation decks, strategically placed at the city's periphery, its presence was an undeniable, mesmerizing force, not a menacing void, but a cosmic clock, its ethereal glow marking the slow, stately passage of Kronos through its gravitational embrace. Inhabitants gathered here, often in companionable silence, their faces reflecting the deep navy and soft, violet hues of the event horizon. It was a sight that stilled the heart, a silent testament to the audacious will that built this sanctuary in the very maw of the void. Here, communal gatherings were not timed by arbitrary clocks, but by the subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the event, horizons shimmer against the deep space canvas, a grand, cosmic measure of time, binding every soul in Kronos to the immense, magnified dance of the universe. The elder, having completed their quiet observation of the bioluminescent flora, would often retreat to a personal chamber within their living sector, a space meticulously designed for tranquility and focus. This sanctuary was softened by textile panels woven from bioluminescent fibers, subtly shifting in hue with the gentle currents of recycled air. Here, the revered art of chronoweaving thrived, not as a hobby, but as a profound philosophical practice, reflecting their unique relationship with time. It wasn't about speed or immediate gratification, but about the deliberate, almost sacred, intertwining of light and shadow, form and void, past and present. Each thread used in this intricate craft was painstakingly extracted from the same genetically engineered flora that graced the biodomes, carrying a faint, cool luminescence that pulsated with its own slow life. Its color shifted with subtle changes in ambient energy, mirroring the distant, majestic dance of Gargantua, Prime's magnetosphere. Beyond the verdant biodomes and the softly glowing living sectors, deeper within the immense, layered structure of Chronos, pulsed the city's true heart, the vast energy conduits. These were not the hurried, humming, and vibrating arteries found in cities elsewhere in the cosmos, but rather colossal, almost sentient pathways of captured cosmic energy. This power was drawn in a continuous, incredibly slow harvest from the very fringes of Gargantua Prime's formidable magnetic field, an engineering marvel that defied conventional understanding. For generations, the Chronos-born had learned to read the subtle shifts in their radiant hum, a low, resonant thrum that vibrated through the very deck plating and permeated the deepest foundations of the city. It was a frequency so deep, so stretched across their perception of time, that it felt more like a geological presence, an intrinsic part of the city's bedrock, than a technological output in the vast, cavernous chambers dedicated to housing and channeling these conduits, bathed in a perpetual, cool violet glow that emanated from the energy itself. Children would sometimes press their small, delicate hands to the smooth, polished surfaces. This profound, almost spiritual, understanding of the city's inner workings and its deep connection to the slow passage of time extended to their unique methods of knowledge preservation and transmission. Unlike cultures that valued rapid information, exchange, and instantaneous data streams, the Chronos-born cultivated deep scrolls, vast, crystalline data archives designed to unfurl information not in seconds or minutes, but over generations. These monumental repositories of wisdom were located in serene, concentric libraries that spiraled majestically through the city's quieter, upper sectors, each layer a ring of hushed contemplation. Within these hallowed spaces, the scrolls projected intricate holographic narratives that developed at a pace only a Chronos-born mind, attuned to the stretched rhythms of their world, could fully appreciate. An apprentice, their gaze calm and steady, their senses sharpened by generations of quiet living, might spend what felt like an entire earthly decade studying a single historical event, or grasping the nuances of a complex scientific principle. As the shimmering layers of light slowly resolved and reformed on the holographic matrix, they would reveal details embedded within the deep data, like geological strata exposing eons of history. The sensation was more than just a vibration. It was a rhythmic pulse that seemed to resonate deep within their bones. A slow, internal clock aligning itself with the city's languid orbit. Many adults, particularly those who practiced the stillness of the core, would spend hours in these chambers, not meditating in the traditional sense, but simply existing within the conduit's presence. They sought to unravel their own rushed internal rhythms, allowing the deep thrum to stretch their subjective moments, finding a profound calm in the slow, drawn-out expansion of their perception. It was said that true understanding of chronos and of time itself began with surrendering to the conduit's ancient song. This communal practice often involved soft, almost imperceptible movements, a gentle swaying, or a barely noticeable shift of weight, harmonizing their physical forms with the colossal pulse of the city's power. The cool violet light seemed to seep into their very being, deepening their connection to the vastness beyond. This profound stillness cultivated in the conduit chambers often found its expression in the art of temporal weaving, a practice far removed from any hurried craft in specialized ateliers, filled with the faint, cool luminescence of the genetically engineered flora. Artisans worked with painstaking slowness. Each thread, painstakingly extracted, carried its own subtle internal pulse, a cool, shifting glow that mirrored the distant, majestic dance of Gargantua Prime's magnetosphere. It wasn't about speed or immediate gratification, but about the deliberate, almost sacred, intertwining of light and shadow, form and void, past and present. The time dilation experienced within chronos meant that a single weave could take days, weeks, or even months of continuous, focused effort in subjective time. Yet, in external cosmic time, it might barely register. This extreme duration was not a burden, but the very essence of the art, allowing for layers of intent and contemplation to imbue each fiber. These completed weavings, often called chronos tapestries or memory strands, were more than decorative. They were living chronicles, each intricate loop and junction representing not just a physical connection, but a stretched moment, a resonant echo of a memory or an observation, hanging in communal spaces, in the quiet alcoves of residential sectors, or within the reflective galleries. They pulsed with a faint, shifting light, a visual symphony of the time spent in their creation. Some depicted abstract representations of orbital mechanics, the slow dance of chronos around the black hole, while others captured the essence of a dream, a whispered conversation, or the specific way the light fell through a biodome on a particular subjective day. To truly read a chronos tapestry required patience, a meditative gaze that allowed the woven time to unfold within the viewer's own stretched perception, offering glimpses into moments far longer than a conventional glance could ever convey. They were tangible artifacts of their unique relationship with time, a silent testament to enduring existence. The quiet dedication of the weavers, working in their slow chambers, was a direct echo of the foundational intent behind Chronos itself. It was an intent born not of ambition, but of necessity, a profound, species-wide reckoning with an earth fading under the weight of its own hurried existence. The choice to seek sanctuary near Gargantua Prime was a desperate, final gamble, a colossal undertaking that spanned generations even before the first module was cast into the void. Humanity sought not merely to escape, but to fundamentally redefine its relationship with time, with purpose, with life itself. This colossal undertaking began with the deployment of the Vanguard seeds, tiny, self-replicating probes that mapped the black hole's gravitational ballet, seeking the improbable sweet spot where a stable, if slow, orbit could be maintained. These early probes returned data across millennia, their findings shaping the very blueprint of humanity's last refuge. The initial construction phase, known as the spine weave, was an unprecedented feat of robotic and human collaboration. Gigantic automated assemblers, programmed with a profound understanding of chronometric stresses, interlocked massive structural beams, each section carefully calibrated to resist the subtle, yet immense, gravitational shears of the black hole. Within the extreme time dilation of this nascent orbit, decades passed subjectively for the construction crews as they guided the robotic arms, sometimes in glacial movements, sometimes with bursts of frantic, accelerated precision when external cosmic events required it. It was during this period that the very architecture of Chronos began to mirror its purpose. Not just a city, but a living, expanding shield against the cosmic maelstrom. Its internal structures designed to flex and flow with the slow, deliberate pulse of the void. The very heart of Chronos, its central cornexus, was the final and most crucial piece of the spine weave. It wasn't just a power generator. It was a temporal regulator, a consciousness conduit, and the philosophical anchor for the entire civilization. Inside, the energy flowed, not in rushes, but in deep, slow thrums that synchronized with the black hole's gravitational rhythms. This nexus was designed not merely to sustain life, but to extend subjective experience, to allow for the contemplation that defined Chronos's inhabitants, the founding architects, those who guided its construction, envisioned a place where humanity could finally shed the anxieties of speed, embracing the profound stillness of the void, finding a new meaning in the deliberate, stretched out moments of existence near the ultimate cosmic timekeeper. The very architecture of Chronos, a marvel born from millennia of observation and computational foresight, was never static. It was a living, breathing shield, constantly engaged in a slow, deliberate dance with the immense forces it tethered itself to. Deep within the city's spine, beneath the serene residential sectors and sprawling biomes, colossal structural beams known as resonance weaves pulsed with an almost imperceptible rhythm. These aren't merely inert supports, they are intricate, interconnected systems of advanced alloys and kinetic dampeners designed to absorb and redistribute the gravitational shears that perpetually tugged at the station's frame. A soft, low hum, too subtle for conscious notice, but felt in the deepest, quiet moments, emanated from these core structures, a continuous lullaby of resistance. This constant, gentle flexing was the city's primary defense, its way of breathing in the void. Beyond the gravitational dance, Chronos maintained an equally vigilant defense against the silent, pervasive threat of cosmic radiation. Gargantua Prime, while beautiful in its terrifying majesty, was a source of various energetic emissions, from solar flares of distant stars funneled by its gravity to the faint but persistent background radiation of the void. The city was encased in multiple layers of aegis fields, transparent, high-density energy shields that shimmered with a faint, cold cyan light, barely visible against the profound darkness of space. These fields were not merely static barriers, but active, adaptive envelopes, constantly recalibrating their frequencies and densities to neutralize incoming particles, transforming harmful rays into benign energy. This energy, rather than being wasted, was meticulously harvested and cycled back into Chronos's vast power grid, contributing to the very life support systems it protected. From within the city, the outside view through these shields often possessed a subtle, ethereal quality, as if looking through a veil spun from starlight itself. Yet the most profound defense of Chronos was not its girders or its fields, but the quiet, enduring spirit of its inhabitants. They lived in constant, though often subconscious, awareness of the immense cosmic forces at play, a reality that fostered a unique blend of scientific curiosity and profound reverence. Throughout the city, particularly in dedicated observatories of the abyss, citizens could, in moments of quiet contemplation, witness the external dance. These observatories were vast, silent domes crafted from the most optically pure, reinforced composites, offering unhindered views of Gargantua Prime. Here, individuals would gather, not in fear, but in a shared sense of wonder, gaze is drawn to the distant, subtle shimmer of the black hole's event horizon. Scientific teams, the stellar librarians, meticulously tracked every anomaly, every gravitational wave, every faint pulse of energy from the abyss, their data flowing into the city's predictive algorithms. The ethereal quality of the outside view subtly informed the city's artistic expressions. In the chrono galleries, residents found solace and profound connection in visual narratives that depicted the stretched fabric of existence. Light installations played with perception, simulating the gentle, almost imperceptible shifts in the black hole's gravitational field, creating illusions of objects momentarily elongating or colors subtly phasing. These pieces weren't just seen, they were felt, resonating with the very core of what it meant to live in Chronos, where every moment held a different cosmic weight. Viewers would often sit for what felt like hours, eyes tracing the slow dance of light, finding new details as their own perception of time seemed to slow in synchronicity. Beyond the galleries, the city's inherent slowness cultivated a deep philosophy of patience and observation. In designated still points, tranquil chambers crafted with acoustically dampened surfaces and views into curated biomes, citizens practiced deep gaze. This wasn't merely meditation. It was a communal, silent immersion into the present moment, an acknowledgement of the precious, stretched time they experienced. Participants would focus on the slow unfurling of a rare fern or the gentle shimmer of bioluminescent moss, allowing their minds to align with Kronos' ponderous orbit, finding peace in the vastness and the infinite. This shared stillness fostered an unspoken unity, a collective consciousness attuned to the rhythm of their isolated world. This patient philosophy extended into the very fabric of their societal learning. Children, known affectionately as starseeds, did not rush through knowledge. Instead, in whisper domes, vast, acoustically resonant spaces where voices carried without urgency, they engaged in echo learning. Elder scholars would pose questions about the universe, about Kronos' history, or the intricacies of the black hole, and the young ones would offer their interpretations over days or even weeks. There was no pressure for immediate answers, only for considered thought and the gradual, shared construction of understanding, mirroring the city's own slow, deliberate journey through the cosmos. Each contribution was valued, each pause respected, nurturing a profound sense of collective wisdom. Even in the hushed still points, a new, almost imperceptible tremor began to ripple through Kronos' intricate sensor network. It wasn't a physical vibration, but a faint, insistent energy signature. Unlike any gravitational anomaly or radiation burst previously catalogued. Deep within the city's core diagnostic chambers, automated systems, usually dormant in their watchful repose, began to flicker with new data streams, tracing the signature to a distant, unsettling origin near the black hole's veil. This was not the familiar hum of Gargantua Prime, but something distinctly other. The initial readings, once confirmed, began to populate the communal data screens in the central research spire. Scientists, usually engrossed in the slow, patient study of cosmic background radiation, or the meticulous cultivation of internal biomes, found themselves drawn to the new anomaly. There was no panic, but a quiet, almost reverent curiosity, tinged with a deep, ancestral caution. Spectral analyses revealed a pattern that seemed too structured, too intricate, to be merely a random fluctuation of gravitational waves or exotic particle emissions. It whispered of information, of intent, as the days stretched into Kronos' elongated orbital rhythm. The source of the persistent signal was triangulated to a region perilously close to the event horizon itself, an area long deemed inscrutable and barren. Advanced telescopic arrays, usually focused on mapping distant nebulae, were now redirected, their multispectrum lenses straining to resolve anything within the distorted, shimmering space. On the main observation decks, citizens began to notice a subtle, rhythmic shimmer near the distant, dark curve of Gargantua Prime, a barely visible distortion in the veil spun from starlight itself, pulsing with an almost imperceptible beat. It was a silent, luminous breath from the abyss. The anomaly's data, once deciphered and cross-referenced, solidified into a directive. A specialized craft, the Chronoscout I, hitherto reserved for theoretical deep space simulations, began its silent awakening within Kronos' deepest service bay. Its hull, a seamless blend of hyperdensity alloys and temporal displacement dampeners, shimmered faintly under the diagnostic lights. A hand-picked crew, trained in the most extreme time dilation protocols, moved with a practiced, almost ritualistic grace, securing systems and verifying redundant safeties. Each component of the Chronoscout I represented a triumph of Chronosian engineering, designed to withstand gravitational stresses that would unravel lesser vessels. There was no fanfare, only the low thrum of powered-up systems and the focused quiet of dedicated minds preparing for an unprecedented journey. The departure was a whisper, not a roar. The Chronoscout I detached from Kronos, a single luminous point drifting away from the colossal city's vast, structured silhouette. Through the viewport, the receding city appeared as a brilliant, intricate nebula against the velvet-black canvas of space, punctuated by the distant, swirling majesty of Gargantua Prime's event horizon. A shimmering, impossible portal. The crew settled into the rhythmic hum of their craft, the ship's grav dampeners subtly adjusting to the shifting fields. Outside, the starscape began its slow, almost imperceptible distortion, a subtle hint of the immense temporal forces awaiting them closer to the black hole's embrace. As the chronoscout I accelerated, the familiar, comforting flow of internal time began to subtly stretch. The crew, watching readouts and external views, noted the initial faint shimmers of temporal distortion across the viewport. Not a visual flicker, but a perceived shift in the light's passage. A deep cosmic breath. The black hole's presence, once a distant spectacle, now exerted a more intimate pull. A profound gravitational whisper that tugged at the very fabric of their perception. Instruments monitoring the anomaly showed its signature intensifying. A structured, complex pattern emerging from the swirling chaos near the event horizon, calling them deeper into the unknown. The chronoscout eye, a mere mote of human ingenuity, began to feel the true pull of Gargantua Prime. The subtle distortions observed earlier intensified, becoming a tangible warping of the very fabric of space. Star fields, once crisp and distant, now streaked and smeared across the viewport, their light bending into impossible arcs as the vessel crept closer to the event horizon. Inside the scout, time itself began to hum with a different cadence. The crew, accustomed to Kronos' own gentle time dilation, registered the deeper, more profound temporal shifts. Each tick of their ship's internal chronometer, perfectly calibrated to their vessel's trajectory, became a precious, elongated moment compared to the swift, uncounted millennia that might pass in the outer cosmos. As the chronoscout I drew closer, the faint shimmer resolved into a more defined, yet still ethereal, structure. It was not solid, not gaseous, but rather a persistent, almost crystalline entanglement of pure energy, holding its form against the chaotic maelstrom of the black hole's influence. Its geometric precision was astonishing, appearing too ordered, too deliberate, to be a mere astrophysical phenomenon. On the main observation deck, holographic displays sprang to life, projecting complex visualizations of the anomaly. Spectral analyses, gravitational wave harmonics, and exotic particle signatures were overlaid, painting a portrait of something utterly alien. The crew worked with quiet intensity, their hands moving over touch-sensitive interfaces, adjusting sensor parameters, refining their observational net. The patterns within the anomalous structure were not random. They were interwoven, repeating, yet evolving with a precision that transcended natural physics. After countless hours of data synthesis, cross-referencing against every known theoretical model, a new understanding began to dawn upon the chronoscout I crew. The resonance Dr. Thorne had observed was not merely with space-time, but seemed to be communicating through it, a language woven from gravitational waves and exotic particle spins. It wasn't a static object, it was a dynamic, informational construct. Lieutenant Commander Alara Vance, the mission's lead astrogator and a prodigy in pattern recognition, highlighted a series of interconnected nodes on her display. The whisper of the Chronoscout Eye's findings rippled through Chronos, not with urgency, but with the profound, slow gravity characteristic of the city itself. Data streams, usually a torrent of mundane orbital diagnostics and resource allocation, now carried spectral analyses and gravitational wave harmonics that painted an utterly alien picture. In the silent, cavernous analysis, chambers deep within the central spire, holographic projections of the anomaly pulsed with an internal, soft light. Scientists, usually cloaked in their personal work cocoons, now gathered in hushed conclaves, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of the projected entanglement. Initial theories, once freely exchanged, began to solidify into opposing interpretations. Some saw a marvel of unknown cosmic engineering, a testament to intelligences beyond human comprehension, urging immediate, albeit cautious, exploration. Beyond the scientific conclaves, the nascent divisions began to echo through Kronos's daily rhythms. In the vast residential sectors, where artificial skies mimicked a perpetually gentle twilight, conversations shifted from resource quotas and orbital adjustments to the enigma of the entanglement. Citizens, accustomed to the slow, predictable ballet of their existence, found themselves drawn to information hubs, where curated data feeds cycled through theoretical models and cautious projections. Artists began to interpret the new discovery, their mediums reflecting the growing dichotomy. Some sculptures depicted the anomaly as a protective shell, glowing with benevolent light, while others rendered it as a gaping maw, a silent devourer. Public forums, usually dedicated to communal planning, now hosted fervent, yet still measured, discussions about humanity's place in a universe that continued to reveal such profound, unknown wonders. The city's internal light cycles, normally a soft, uniform progression, subtly modulated in certain districts, some areas adopting warmer, inviting hues, signaling a hopeful outward gaze, while others dimmed slightly, deepening into protective, cooler blues and purples, mirroring a desire for introspection and caution. These visual shifts, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye, became the silent language of the emerging factions. As the debate matured, initial philosophical divide began to imprint itself physically upon the city's structure. Specialized energy conduits, once uniformly gleaming with a cool cyan luminescence, now branched into distinct networks, some directing heightened power to long-range sensor arrays, scanning the distant anomaly with intense scrutiny, while others bolstered the shields and reinforced the outer hull, preparing for a potential unknown threat. Entire districts, once seamlessly integrated, started to develop their own microclimates of thought and infrastructure. The vanguard sector, housing those who championed active engagement and scientific probes, shimmered with brighter, more dynamic light patterns and accelerated data flow, a constant thrum of forward momentum. Conversely, the Sentinel Quarter, home to those advocating for extreme caution and self-preservation, adopted deeper, more subdued lighting, their internal systems prioritized for resilience and isolation. A quiet fortress facing an uncertain cosmos. Even the patterns of movement within Chronos changed. Passenger flows diverted, certain transit lines becoming more frequented by one faction over another, creating invisible yet palpable boundaries. The black hole's immense, silent presence, once a shared wonder, now loomed as a polarizing force, its shadow extending not just across the void, but into the very heart of humanity's last deep space city, forever altering its serene, slow orbit dance in the soft, diffused light of Chronos's central arboretum, where bioluminescent flora pulsed with a gentle, rhythmic glow. The subtle shifts in the city's mood began to meld into a singular, enduring hum. The murmurs of discovery, the initial awe and trepidation surrounding the entanglement, had settled into a quiet, profound contemplation. Here, under a canopy of engineered stars that mimicked a perpetual twilight, the earlier divisions seemed less sharp, softened by the overarching truth of their shared existence. The citizens, each a living testament to humanity's resilience, moved with a newfound, almost meditative grace. They understood that the universe, in its boundless mystery, would forever present them with wonders and enigmas far grander than their immediate concerns. The deep space around Gargantua Prime, once merely a perilous void, now felt like a living canvas, constantly unfolding new layers of meaning. The air, recycled 1,000 times, carried the faint, comforting scent of ozone and cultivated earth, a quiet testament to life's tenacity. Within this secure cradle, humanity wasn't just surviving. It was patiently watching, learning, and dreaming of an unknown future, suspended in the cosmic ballet. Beyond the softly glowing domes, the deep velvet of space stretched infinitely, punctuated by distant, cold starlight and always the profound, silent presence of Gargantua Prime, the supermassive black hole, once a source of constant vigilance and quiet dread, now appeared as a majestic, unfathomable anchor in their existence. Its event horizon, a shimmering, impossible boundary, seemed to breathe with a slow, cosmic rhythm, a silent promise of untold secrets from Kronos' primary observation decks. The view was a masterpiece of scale and stillness. The city station, a jewel of human ingenuity, continued its measured, deliberate orbit, an intricate dance choreographed by gravity itself. The subtle, almost imperceptible time dilation, once a scientific curiosity, had woven itself into the fabric of their lives, lending every moment a precious, extended quality. Each sunrise, engineered by vast light panels, felt like a deliberate act, a gentle reassurance that even at the edge of the abyss, life persisted, vibrant and watchful. The faint, distant shimmer of the entanglement was a whisper on the wind, a beacon of perpetual wonder against the eternal dark. As the simulated twilight deepened across Kronos, casting long, soft shadows in the residential sectors, a profound sense of quietude settled over the city. The rhythmic hum of life support systems, the distant thrum of orbital thrusters making minute corrections, all blended into a soothing lullaby of endurance. Each individual, nestled in their personal spaces, was a small, quiet universe, connected by the shared miracle of their home. The entanglement, that profound whisper from the cosmic deep, remained an unfolding mystery, but no longer a source of disquiet. It was now simply another layer in the vast tapestry of existence, a testament to the boundless universe they inhabited. Time itself, fluid and relative, seemed to slow, wrapping Kronos in a gentle embrace, a silent promise of ongoing journey. Here, on the edge of the unimaginable, humanity had found not just survival, but a tranquil, contemplative peace. The future, though unknown, was not to be feared, but gently embraced, like the slow, eternal drift of their city through the cosmic ocean, a sanctuary of dreams against the infinite dark. The faint, distant shimmer of the entanglement was a whisper on the wind, a beacon of perpetual wonder against the eternal dark. This shimmer, once merely a distant curiosity, had recently intensified, its subtle energy flows now more pronounced, weaving threads of light across the vast, dark canvas within Kronos. This change was felt not as a sudden jolt, but as a deepening hum within the city's very structure. It was a resonance that seemed to travel through the hydroponic gardens, across the crystalline observation domes, and into the quiet chambers where the city's inhabitants slept or mused. The entanglement was no longer just a marvel, It had become a living question, its increased activity pointing towards the profound, critical choice that lay ahead for Chronos. Its light, now a more defined spectrum of cold cyan and soft violet, drew the collective gaze of the city, not with fear, but with a burgeoning sense of destiny, slowly unfolding. This subtle energy shift spurred new activity in the grand conclave chambers. Vast, spherical spaces designed for both quiet deliberation and the merging of collective thought. Here, the unique time dilation of Chronos felt most potent, stretching moments of profound concentration into elongated eternities. Holographic projections, intricate and slow-moving, pulsed with newly gathered data from Gargantua Prime, revealing subtle, previously unnoticed fluctuations within the black hole's immediate vicinity. Elder archivists, their faces lined with the wisdom of many subjective centuries, moved with a deliberate grace, reviewing ancient protocols and contemporary interpretations. Their movements were unhurried, each gesture a testament to the patient, reflective culture forged under the shadow of the supermassive black hole. The air, enriched with filtered starlight from the chamber's vast windows, carried the faint, metallic scent of advanced machinery, and the clean, earthy aroma of the city's internal biomes, a quiet testament to their enduring ingenuity. A new consensus was beginning to form, a shared understanding born from the slow, deliberate processing of information and the profound connection to the entanglements, evolving energy. It wasn't a unanimous vote of immediate action, but a quiet, gravitational pull towards a singular, profound direction. The city's vast, interwoven systems, from its power conduits glowing with soft blue energy to its environmental controls, seemed to collectively align, responding to the subtle shifts in the conclave's focus. This nascent resolve was less about urgency and more about an inevitable alignment, a destiny long contemplated, now drawing into sharper focus. Outside the chambers, in the city's quieter residential sectors, individuals felt this same pull, a sense of quiet participation in a larger collective fate. Families gathered in hushed contemplation, the soft glow of their habitat, windows reflecting the distant, ethereal presence of Gargantua Prime, their anchor and their ultimate test. The choice, once an abstract future, was now a tangible, shared breath, drawing Chronos ever closer to an irreversible event, not with dread, but with a serene, unified acceptance. The subtle shifts within the grand conclave had rippled outwards, manifesting as quiet, deliberate construction throughout Chronos. New energy pathways, designed with an elegant, crystalline geometry, began to trace luminous veins across previously inert hull sections. These conduits pulsed with the cold cyan and soft violet light of the entanglement, integrated not as an addition, but as an organic extension of the city's living architecture. Residents moved with a familiar tranquility around these evolving structures, their presence a testament to generations accustomed to continuous, thoughtful adaptation. The air itself seemed to carry a renewed purpose, a gentle hum of coordinated effort, as Kronos subtly reimagined its own physical being in response to the void's persistent invitation. Within these newly empowered sectors, existing communal spaces began a quiet transformation. The Whispering Gardens, once merely a serene hydroponic biome, now saw the slow erection of translucent, sound-dampening panels that redirected the gentle rustle of synthetic leaves into deliberate, harmonic patterns. These acoustic alterations were part of a wider initiative, a generational understanding that deeper contemplation would be required to truly commune with the black hole's expanded mysteries. Children, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of nutrient-rich fog, played amongst the slowly shifting panels, already inheritors of a world retuned to the subtler frequencies of their unique existence, learning patience and quiet observation as a core tenet of their legacy. High above, in the grand conclave's periphery, the eventide nexus pulsed with a renewed, measured intensity. This previously seldom used observation array, now fully integrated with the entanglement's expanded capabilities, offered a panoramic, multispectral view of Gargantua Prime. Its vast, curved windows, once a symbol of the great unknown, now invited a sense of profound, quiet engagement. Young apprentices, guided by the elder archivists, meticulously calibrated holographic overlays, tracking the subtle, shimmering dances of accretion disk matter with an inherited reverence. Their steady hands, navigating the intricate controls, reflected a destiny embraced, not one of conquest, but of patient, enduring presence, observing the universe's grandest mystery with an unwavering, generations deep curiosity. Beyond the shifting panels of the Whispering Gardens, dedicated architects of Kronos unveiled new chambers, specifically tuned for deep space contemplation. These harmonic naves were vast, gently curving spaces where the city's internal hum was meticulously filtered, shaped, and then reintroduced as a series of resonant, low-frequency tones. Within their polished crystalline walls, residents found solace in these sonic environments, a deliberate counterpoint to the void's overwhelming silence. The air, enriched with trace minerals from the city's closed-loop systems, held a faint, almost imperceptible metallic sweetness, a reminder of the ingenuity sustaining their existence. The energy pathways of the entanglement, which threaded through the city, found new expression within these naves. Invisible fields of soft, pulsing energy were woven into the very fabric of the chambers, designed to gently synchronize with the human body's own subtle electrical impulses. It was a silent, internal communion, a quiet hum perceived not through the ears, but through the skin and the deep inner workings of the self. Elder members of the conclave, their faces etched with the wisdom of centuries, often guided younger generations through these fields, teaching them how to perceive and engage with the city's living network, interpreting the subtle shifts as a language of cosmic flow. Even the youngest children, their small hands resting lightly on luminous panels, began to perceive the faint, almost imperceptible warmth of these vital currents. This deepened connection to Kronos' energy matrix gave birth to a unique meditative practice known as temporal stillness. It was not merely about quieting the mind, but about consciously aligning oneself with the city's internal temporal rhythm, a deliberate slowing down of personal perception to match the grand, enduring orbit around Gargantua Prime. During these sessions, individuals would gather in small, concentric circles, their eyes softly closed, allowing the carefully calibrated acoustic and energetic fields to guide their internal clocks. They sought a resonance with the vast, patient expanse of the void, finding a profound sense of peace in their shared, slow journey. A quiet acknowledgement of the black hole's persistent invitation to deeper understanding. The faint, almost imperceptible warmth perceived by Kronos' youngest residents was not merely a sensation, it was an invitation. In dedicated Nexus nurseries, bathed in soft, shifting emerald light, children learned to follow these currents, tracing the intricate energy pathways of the entanglement through specially designed interaction panels. Their small fingers, guided by patient mentors, would press lightly against surfaces that pulsed with internal light, causing holographic representations of the city's vital systems to bloom and intertwine before their eyes. These were not just lessons in technology, but deep lessons in empathy and connection, understanding that every module, every circuit, every living being within Kronos was an interconnected node in a single, vast organism. The air here carried a faint, sweet ozone scent, a byproduct of the active energy fields, a gentle whisper of the city's sustained life. This early communion fostered an innate understanding of Kronos, not as a static structure, but as a responsive, breathing entity, its subtle rhythms becoming as familiar as their own heartbeats. Further within the conflux core, nested in its deepest strata, lay the chambers of temporal weaving. These were not places of active manipulation, but of profound observation, where specialized cartographers of time monitored the subtle, yet pervasive, influence of Gargantua Prime. Here, the crystalline walls became translucent, offering filtered glimpses of the black hole's shimmering event horizon. A distant, magnificent, and terrifying cosmic eye. The air was colder, imbued with a deep, echoing silence, only occasionally punctuated by the soft, almost inaudible chimes of temporal recalibrators. Delicate, web-like arrays of quantum sensors, spun from supercooled alloys, extended into the void, feeding data streams back into vast, slowly rotating holographic displays. These displays mapped the local gravitational distortions, the minute shifts in time dilation across Kronos' sprawling structure, presenting the raw, beautiful mathematics of their existence, even in their leisure. This deep understanding of relative time and the entanglement found subtle expression. The Dreamweave theaters offered immersive sensory experiences unlike any other. Here, instead of linear narratives, inhabitants engaged with temporal symphonies, layered soundscapes, and shifting visual projections that explored the intricate beauty of time dilation, guiding the mind through abstract journeys of stretched moments and compressed eons. Plush, zero-gravity recliners allowed patrons to float gently, their bodies suspended as their minds wandered through digital landscapes that mimicked the subtle gravitational eddies around Kronos, or zoomed through the microscopic pathways of the city's self-repairing nanobots. The experience was designed not to entertain in the traditional sense, but to harmonize, to bring an individual's internal rhythm into sync with the grand, slow dance of Kronos itself. A faint, almost subliminal pulse, woven into the soundscape, resonated with the frequencies of the entanglement, strengthening the personal connection to the city's living network. Within these silent, hallowed spaces, where the air itself seemed to slow and thicken, the cartographers of time performed their intricate ballet of understanding. They moved with a practiced, almost ritualistic grace, their hands hovering over arrays of shimmering light, not touching, but coaxing complex patterns and hidden meanings from the vast, ceaseless data flows. Each subtle shift in the gravitational field, each minute ripple in the fabric of space-time, was meticulously recorded, cross-referenced, and analyzed by their sophisticated instruments. Their work wasn't merely about numbers and theoretical physics. It was about translating the cosmic whispers of Gargantua Prime into a tangible, actionable language. Kronos could understand a language of stability, survival, and a profound, shared existence. These dedicated individuals, cloaked in soft, light-absorbing robes, that rendered them almost invisible against the deep hues of their environment, were the quiet guardians of the city's temporal balance. There lives a perpetual meditation on the nature of existence near the ultimate void. The holographic displays before them pulsed with soft, deep blue light, mapping the gravitational landscape like an ever-evolving, living topography. These intricate maps, compiled and refined over countless cycles, revealed not only patterns of existing temporal flow, but also predictions crucial for Kronos' delicate and continuous operations. The city itself, a marvel of bioengineering, adaptive architecture, and profound temporal mechanics, possessed an almost innate, organic awareness of these predicted shifts. Deep within its structural sinews, hidden conduits pulsed with a warm, adaptive energy, constantly working to maintain the city's precise internal temporal rhythm against the relentless external distortions emanating from Gargantua Prime. This wasn't a manual, reactive adjustment, but a fluid, almost organic compensation, a constant reharmonization of its own immense structure. Subterranean temporal stasis resonators, colossal crystalline structures carefully grown and embedded deep within Kronos' foundational layers, acted as its anchor points. These majestic crystals emitted counterfrequencies, complex energy waves that subtly harmonized the internal flow of time, preventing individual sectors from falling out of sync. High above these humming, stabilizing depths, far from the critical computations and the resonating crystals, in the dedicated temporal spires that gracefully pierced Kronos' outermost shell, a different, more contemplative kind of observation took place. These elegant spires, accessible to all citizens, offered panoramic views not directly of Gargantua Prime itself, which was often shielded for safety, but of the distant starfields beyond the black hole's immediate, distorting influence, and crucially, of Kronos' own vast, slow-motion ballet against the backdrop of warped cosmic light. Here, within the comfortable, softly lit confines of the spires, the subtle yet pervasive effects of time dilation transformed into a visual art form, a daily, communal experience. Distant starlight, filtered and subtly amplified through Kronos' adaptive viewing shields, would sometimes appear to shimmer and stretch with an almost liquid grace, moments elongated, colors subtly shifting in a slow, ethereal dance across the immense windows. It was a gentle, beautiful reminder of their unique and impossible position, a daily spectacle that fostered both profound wonder and a quiet, deeply ingrained understanding of their fragile yet resilient existence. Families, couples, and solitary individuals would gather at these viewing portals, silhouetted against the cosmic tapestry, their gazes lost in the infinite expanse, the constant, deep hum emanating from the temporal stasis resonators permeated the very fabric of Chronos. A low, resonant thrum felt more than heard, a silent promise of temporal stability. This energy wasn't just a static shield. It actively wove itself into the city's atmosphere, creating intricate, overlapping temporal zones. Within these zones, the passage of moments felt consistent, a smooth, unyielding flow, starkly contrasting the external cosmic dance. Light, too, behaved differently here, its photons guided and stabilized by the harmonized temporal fields, casting long, unbroken beams across vast internal plazas, lending an almost liquid quality to the air. The robes of the temporal wardens, designed to absorb and diffuse ambient light, made them seem to glide through these spaces. Their presence, a quiet testament to the city's delicate balance. Their holographic displays, now less about raw data and more about visual representations of flow, rippled with patterns of tranquil cyan and deep indigo, confirming the sustained harmony of each sector. One such meticulously crafted temporal zone was the Great Lumina Atrium, a sprawling, multi-tiered botanical garden that defied the logic of external time. Here, exotic flora, genetically engineered for Kronos' unique conditions, unfolded their petals and leaves in an unhurried ballet, their growth imperceptibly slow to an external observer, yet perfectly paced within the atrium's localized temporal field. Families would gather on curved, bioluminescent benches, watching the languid unfurling of a lumina bloom, its petals shimmering with inner light over what would feel like hours to them, but only minutes relative to the deep void outside. The air carried the faint, sweet scent of these blooms, mingling with the subtle, clean aroma of recirculated oxygen. Children, their movements deliberately calm, would trace the pathways of bioluminescent moss that pulsed gently along the atrium's pathways, learning patience from the very rhythm of their artificial world. High above the tranquil lumina atrium, at the periphery of Kronos' immense dome, lay the solitude nexus. Here, the temporal fields were meticulously tuned to mirror the average internal rhythm of the city, yet the expansive panoramic windows offered a breathtaking, yet subtly distorted, view of Gargantua Prime, the supermassive black hole, a swirling vortex of deep purple and obsidian, pulsed silently in the distance, its gravitational pull a palpable, ever-present force that warped the cosmic dust and distant starlight into elegant, spiraling patterns. An elder temporal warden, their light-absorbing robes a mere whisper against the window's edge, stood in quiet contemplation. Their gaze, serene and ancient absorbed the paradox, the immense, chaotic external time, slowed to an unimaginable crawl, juxtaposed with Kronos's meticulously harmonized internal flow. This wasn't merely survival, it was a conscious, deliberate choice to exist, to cultivate meaning and beauty against the ultimate backdrop of cosmic indifference, a testament to humanity's profound resilience in the face of the universe's grandest mystery. Beyond the soft glow of the Lumina atrium, the city's meticulously crafted temporal fields extended into the residential sectors, where the rhythmic murmur of recirculated air and purified water systems formed a gentle, constant lullaby. Here, within winding passages of brushed chrome steel, lay the hydroponic cascades, a series of tiered terraces where nutrient-rich water flowed slowly, nourishing vertical farms that stretched towards softly glowing sun panels. The air was perpetually fresh, carrying the faint, earthy scent of cultivated greens and the whisper of distant filtration. Residents often gathered on low, cushioned platforms beside these cascades, their conversations hushed, their movements unhurried, as they watched the shimmering flow of water, a quiet reminder of Kronos's delicate, self-sustaining pulse. The subtle vibrations from the city's lifeblood systems resonated through the very structure, a soothing hum that grounded them against the infinite void. Deeper within Kronos's core, where the temporal distortions were most carefully managed, lay the chronometric gaze deck. This vast, arc-shaped chamber offered panoramic views of the velvet black void, punctuated by the distant, mesmerizing swirl of Gargantua Prime's accretion disk. Here, time's subtle warping became a tangible experience. The very light from the distant stars seemed to stretch and shift, a visual echo of their relativistic journey. Occupants, often clad in soft, insulating robes, would sit in contemplative silence, observing the glacial drift of cosmic dust motes, or the impossibly slow, deep space maneuvers of remote maintenance drones. It was a space designed not for fear, but for profound awe, a constant, humbling reminder of their unique perch at the edge of the universe, where minutes within Chronos corresponded to ages in the unseen, external cosmos. In one of Kronos's older, more deeply rooted sectors, sheltered from the most dramatic temporal effects, the Sylvan Loom Guild operated. Here, the city's elders, their faces etched with the gentle wisdom of centuries, lived in relative slowness, practiced ancient crafts. They wove intricate tapestries from bioengineered fibers that captured and refracted light, creating shifting patterns that mimicked the subtle energy flows within the city's temporal fields. The rhythmic click and hum of their custom looms, powered by microgravitic reactors, filled the quiet chamber, a melody of sustained creation. Each strand, each knot, was a deliberate act, a meditation on permanence amidst the transient nature of external time. Young apprentices, their movements mirroring the elders' calm precision, learned not just the craft, but the enduring patience and reverence for detailed work that defined their deep space existence. Beyond the chronometric gaze deck, deeper within Kronos' spiraling form, lay the luminous arboreums. These were not merely the utilitarian hydroponic cascades, but sanctuaries of engineered beauty, where the city's temporal fields were subtly tuned to nurture a spectrum of flora adapted to extreme conditions and unique light cycles. Here, bioluminescent mosses clung to sculpted walls, casting a soft, ethereal glow that pulsed with the city's slow internal rhythm. Delicate, fern-like plants, whose growth patterns were stretched and compressed by minute temporal variations, shimmered with iridescence, their fronds unfurling at a pace imperceptible to the hurried eye, yet distinctly visible over an extended vigil. Nutrient-rich mists, infused with subtle aromatherapy compounds, drifted languidly through the air, carrying the faint, sweet scent of stardew blooms and ozone. Residents often sought solace here, moving along winding, moss-covered paths, their footsteps muffled, their conversations reduced to whispers that seemed to hang in the humid, glowing air before dissipating like wisps of nebula. From the verdant tranquility of the arboreums, the soft, curved pathways of Kronos led to the echoing galleries, vast, open chambers dedicated to the city's unique artistic expressions and the preservation of its collective memory. Here, art was not merely seen, but felt, often designed to engage with the temporal distortions that defined their existence. Holographic installations shimmered, depicting the glacial drift of cosmic dust motes around Gargantua Prime. Each tiny particle rendered with such fidelity that its relativistic journey across eons seemed to play out in slow, captivating motion. Sculptures of brushed chrome steel and crystalline polymers appeared to subtly shift their forms as one moved around them, a deliberate optical illusion mirroring the bending of light and space. Murals, intricately woven with light-sensitive threads, would slowly change their palette over days or weeks, reflecting the deep space cycles of stellar radiation. A living, evolving canvas that demanded patience and prolonged observation. Within these galleries were also the silent archives, not rows of physical books, but shimmering mnemonic spools where humanity's history, both terrestrial and cosmic, was stored. Connecting the aesthetic realms of Kronos were the dedicated observation platforms, distinct from the grand chronometric gaze deck in their intimate scale and specialized focus. These smaller, often circular pods, accessible only to small groups or individual researchers, offered direct, high-resolution views of specific phenomena around Gargantua Prime. Here, the emphasis shifted from profound awe to meticulous, slow-paced study. Advanced chronometric sensors hummed quietly, their data streams projected onto translucent display panels that wrapped around the curved walls. One might observe the impossibly slow dance of a rogue asteroid caught in Gargantua Prime's outer halo, its trajectory analyzed over weeks or months, its movements so stately they seemed almost painted onto the velvet blackness. Another platform might focus on the subtle, shimmering eddies within the accretion disk itself, where matter swirled towards the event horizon, its light stretched and warped into impossible colors by the extreme gravity. From the glowing heart of the silent archives, where humanity's vast tapestry of experience lay in shimmering mnemonic spools, residents of Chronos practiced a unique form of engagement, not a hurried download, but a slow, almost ritualistic immersion. Individuals would approach the softly pulsating spools, their hands hovering, and allow strands of memory to unfurl directly into their conscious minds. A process that could span hours, days, or even weeks, depending on the depth of the historical event being absorbed. The temporal weavers, a revered guild, guided these journeys, ensuring the integrity of the collective memory and aiding those who sought to draw parallels between past terrestrial struggles and their current existence in the void. It was in these silent, internal voyages that the true weight and wonder of their cosmic journey were often profoundly felt, echoing the glacial pace of the cosmic ballet outside. Each absorbed memory became a new facet of their shared identity, slowly shaping their understanding of resilience and purpose. Emerging from the deep, personal reveries of the archives, pathways led to the grand oculus. This was a vast, dome-like chamber, its entire upper hemisphere a single, colossal viewport crafted from layers of grav-stabilized crystalline laminate. Here, the city's internal hum faded to a near-silent thrum, a backdrop to the breathtaking, terrifying majesty of Gargantua Prime. The supermassive black hole, a swirling vortex of warped starlight and nebulous gas, dominated the view, its event horizon a shimmering, almost liquid boundary where light itself seemed to hesitate. Across the dome's surface, intricate projections of orbital telemetry overlaid the real-time vista, displaying the city's precise, deliberate drift, a ballet of calculated surrender to an unimaginable force. It was a constant, humbling reminder of their existence at the edge of the unknown, a silent sentinel watching over their quiet city. Within the grand oculus, residents moved with an unhurried grace, their forms silhouetted against the cosmic panorama. Some sat on polished, concentric benches, their gazes lost in the infinite spiral of Gargantua Prime, hands gently resting on warm, vibrating surfaces that subtly conveyed the city's deep space oscillations. Others practiced gravitational meditations, a series of slow, almost imperceptible movements designed to harmonize their internal rhythms with the city's deliberate orbit and the subtle gravitational tides that washed over Chronos. There was no sound beyond a faint, resonant hum and the occasional soft, almost subliminal chime marking the passage of significant orbital markers. Children, too, were often present, tracing constellations of distant, time-dilated stars on the dome's surface, their innocence a stark, beautiful contrast to the existential grandeur surrounding them, learning patience from the endless cosmic dance. The air within the grand oculus was not still, but rather flowed with an almost imperceptible current, a gentle breathing of the city itself. Here, gravity anchors were tuned to their most delicate settings, allowing a subtle, swaying sensation that mimicked the city's own deliberate drift. Individuals would often gather, not in conversation, but in shared silence, their gazes drawn to the impossible beauty beyond the grav-stabilized crystalline laminate. Some would recline on subtly heated platforms, their eyes tracing the distant, shimmering edge of the event horizon, a boundary where time itself seemed to ripple. It was in these quiet moments that the true scale of their existence would press down, not with panic, but with a profound, almost comforting weight, anchoring them to a cosmic rhythm far grander than any terrestrial clock. This collective gazing was more than mere observation. It was a deeply ingrained cultural practice, known as temporal stillness. The city's unique position, experiencing extreme time dilation relative to the universe outside, meant that every moment within Chronos was precious, accelerated. To counter this internal rush, the grand oculus served as a temporal anchor, a place where the perception of time could be consciously slowed. Specialized sensory arrays embedded within the dome translated the subtle gravitational waves and faint cosmic microwave background radiation into an almost imperceptible low thrum, a resonant frequency that gently guided the city's inhabitants into a state of deep, unhurried awareness. This sound was unique, a quiet echo of Gargantua Prime's immense presence, allowing them to truly feel the glacial pace of deep time. Beyond the quiet meditation, the grand oculus was also the nerve center for the Drift Keepers, a specialized guild whose responsibility it was to interpret the intricate telemetry projections overlaid upon Gargantua Prime's image. These were not just beautiful light patterns, they were the lifeblood of Chronos. Every minute adjustment, every whisper of gravitational influence was meticulously calculated and fed into the city's propulsion and stabilization systems. A dedicated, softly lit command console, usually manned by a single, focused individual, stood at the center of the chamber, its holographic interface shimmering with algorithms and predictions. Their work ensured Chronos maintained its impossibly delicate orbit, a perpetual ballet of calculated surrender and resistance, allowing the quiet city to continue its slow, calm voyage through eternity. The low thrum, a subtle vibration born from the immense presence of Gargantua Prime, did not cease at the crystalline laminate of the Grand Oculus. Instead, it permeated the very structure of Chronos, carried along the city's vast, interwoven conduits and the deep, resonant frequencies of its grav stabilizers. In the quiet, private contemplation chambers, nestled in the inner layers of the station, this cosmic whisper was often amplified, channeled through specialized sensory panels embedded in the walls. Here, inhabitants would recline on zero-G suspension couches, their minds gently guided by the rhythmic pulse. It was a practice known as deep listening, a complement to temporal stillness, where the city's internal, accelerated time could be consciously harmonized with the vast, slow drift of the black hole's orbit. Soft, diffuse light, mimicking the deep space twilight, cast long, flowing shadows that shifted with an almost imperceptible undulation, further emphasizing the city's tranquil, deliberate movement. The air, enriched and carefully recycled, carried a faint, clean scent of ozone and cultivated greens, a quiet reminder of Chronos's self-contained vitality. Beyond the personal chambers, the architecture of Chronos itself seemed to breathe, its vast internal spaces designed not just for utility, but for a profound sensory experience of time. In the central Viridian Spire, a colossal, multi-tiered hydroponics bay that stretched towards the city's core, slow-growing bioluminescent flora pulsed with a serene, internal rhythm. Specialized Chronos gauges, elegant, spiral-bound displays of light and shadow, adorned the walkways, visually translating the abstract concept of time dilation into tangible, slow-moving patterns. These gauges did not measure seconds or minutes, but cycles of orbital drift, phases of resource regeneration, and the estimated temporal difference between Chronos and a hypothetical external observer. Watching the indolent sweep of a Chronos gauge became a form of quiet meditation, a visible testament to their unique existence, marking the almost imperceptible shifts in their grand, cosmic journey. The soft, living light from the flora mingled with the cool cyan glow of the gauges, creating an ethereal, organic luminescence. Through the massive observation portals of the Viridian Spire, carefully shielded and gravitationally stabilized, one could gaze upon the grand, slow ballet of Kronos' external energy collectors. These colossal, shimmering arrays, resembling delicate, crystalline petals, perpetually unfurled and retracted with a majestic slowness, capturing stray radiation and gravitational eddies from Gargantua Prime. Their movements, visible only over long stretches of internal time, were a constant, silent symphony of energy harvesting. Each minute shift of a collector panel was a triumph of engineering and a testament to their enduring presence. The soft, deep hum of their distant operation resonated subtly through the city's structure, a comforting, almost paternal sound. It was a tangible connection to the colossal power source that both threatened and sustained them, a constant, gentle reminder that every flicker of light within Kronos, every breath of recycled air, was a careful negotiation with the infinite, consuming presence of the black hole. The city, a silent sentinel, drifted on, a beacon of persistent life in the profound cosmic quiet. Beyond the public walkways adorned with Kronos gauges and their indolent sweep of light, the city offered more intimate sanctuaries, pockets of profound stillness designed for individual temporal attunement. These were the stillness chambers, cocoon-like retreats where the relentless external flow of relative time could be consciously harmonized. Entry was through a gently compressing airlock, a soft sigh of recycled atmosphere marking the transition from the city's ambient hum to a deeper quiet. Each chamber, subtly pressurized and perfectly insulated, hummed with a low, resonant frequency, a deep sonic anchor in the vast, relativistic sea. It was a frequency carefully calibrated to the specific harmonics of Kronos' internal gyroscopic stabilizers, a subtle vibration that resonated through the very bones, inviting the mind to slow and settle. Within these private cocoons, zero-G suspension couches cradled occupants in a state of carefully modulated weightlessness, the sensation akin to floating adrift in a warm, dark sea. The practice of deep listening, far from being a purely solitary pursuit, seamlessly permeated the communal consciousness of Kronos, fostering a profound sense of shared temporal understanding. In designated harmonic atriums, these spacious, multi-level environments offered expansive, curated views of the distant, shimmering event horizon, visible through vast, shielded apertures. Groups of citizens would gather here, drawn by an innate desire for collective attunement. These atriums were architectural marvels, designed with carefully sculpted acoustics that not only dampened external noise, but amplified the city's inherent low-frequency hum. This foundational drone, a tangible expression of Kronos's colossal machinery and life support systems, was then subtly interwoven with synthesized, resonant tones mirroring the gravitational whispers and echoes emanating from Gargantua Prime itself. The effect was a rich, layered soundscape that was felt as much as heard, a symphony of cosmic motion. The profound, inescapable influence of Gargantua Prime, the supermassive black hole they orbited, was far more than a mere scientific fact for the citizens of Kronos. It was a cornerstone of their spiritual life, their art, and their very identity. In the Event Horizon observatories, these colossal, vast domed chambers were strategically positioned at the city's outermost rim, offering the most direct and unfiltered views of the cosmic Leviathan. Residents would gather here, sometimes individually for hours, often in hushed groups, drawn by an almost magnetic reverence to witness the distant, mesmerizing shimmer of the black hole's boundary. Here, filtered through intricate layers of advanced protective and optically augmented crystalline alloys, the Event Horizon appeared not as a terrifying, destructive maw, but as a vast, serene disk of compressed shadow, its profound darkness absorbing all light. This sublime silhouette was ringed by a faint, gravitational halo, a spectral corona of distorted starlight and captured gases, bending around the singularity in impossible curves. These observatories were sanctuaries of absolute silence, save for the soft, almost imperceptible hum of the city's vast gyroscopic stabilizers, a constant, reassuring whisper that spoke of their delicate balance and perpetual motion. The integrated soundscape, an intricate tapestry woven from the city's deep hum and the faint whispers of Gargantua Prime, cradled the citizens within the harmonic atriums. Here, individuals didn't merely listen, they absorbed, subtly shifting light patterns projected onto vast, curved surfaces, pulsed in gentle synchronicity with the underlying frequencies, guiding communal meditative states. These visual rhythms, slow and expansive, mirrored the distant, relative motion of celestial bodies, reinforcing a shared awareness of Kronos' delicate dance around the cosmic anchor. It was a practice known as temporal resonance, a collective endeavor to align internal clocks with the grand external rhythm, fostering a profound, intuitive understanding of time's pliable nature. The air itself, subtly ionized, carried a faint, clean scent, a reminder of the meticulously recycled lifeblood of their world. This shared understanding of temporal resonance permeated all aspects of Kronosian life, subtly influencing daily routines and personal perceptions. beyond the public atriums. Even private dwellings incorporated elements designed for temporal awareness. Many citizens maintained personal chronoscopes, small, intricately crafted devices that simultaneously displayed the faster internal chronos time alongside the vastly slower external cosmic reference, observing the delicate, almost imperceptible crawl of external seconds against the rapid tick of their local minutes became a quiet ritual, a tangible connection to their unique place in the universe. It reinforced the notion that while their local lives unfolded with purpose and rhythm, the immense external void continued its eons-long, stately waltz, a silent, humbling reminder of Gargantua Prime's monumental presence. The subtle hum of Kronos' life support systems often provided a constant, calming backdrop to these observations. This constant awareness of relative time also shaped the very architecture of Kronos, leading to the creation of temporal gardens within various sectors. These weren't merely decorative green spaces, they were biomechanical systems where the growth cycles of carefully selected flora were subtly modulated by localized temporal fields. Different sections of a single garden might experience slightly varied rates of time, allowing for the cultivation of diverse plant life that would otherwise be incompatible, or accelerating the yield of crucial resources. Walking through a temporal garden was a multisensory experience, a gentle shift in perceived speed, where the slow unfurling of a petal in one zone might contrast with the rapid bloom in another, all within a harmonized, serene environment. The air, enriched with the subtle scent of exotic, slow-blooming flora, added another layer to the deep sensory immersion. Beyond the communal atriums and the personal chronoscopes, many citizens cultivated intricate personal temporal terrariums within their private abodes. These were not merely gardens, they were living chrono displays, often encased in softly glowing, crystal-like enclosures. Within, bioluminescent fungi pulsed with a rhythm that subtly deviated from the local chronos time, slowing imperceptibly, mirroring the vast cosmic crawl. Delicate frond-like plants, engineered for extreme longevity, would unfurl or retract with such exquisite slowness that their movement was only perceptible over the course of hours or even days. Tending to these small, contained universes became a deeply personal, meditative practice, a quiet counterpoint to the more active communal resonances. Each terrarium, a microcosm of the grand, external dilation, served as a tangible, living anchor, reminding its owner of their unique place in the universe's grand temporal tapestry. The very infrastructure of Kronos itself hummed with this pervasive temporal awareness. Beneath the polished walkways, and above the silent, magnetic transport tubes. The city's lifeblood, recycled air, purified water, and carefully harnessed energy flowed through intricate conduits designed not just for efficiency, but for resonance. These glowing arteries, embedded within the city's architectural spine, exhibited a subtle, internal breath, a collective pulse that synchronized with the chronos time. Yet their external glow, visible through translucent panels, shimmered with a slower, almost imperceptible fluctuation. It was said that the designers had imbued the city with a soul, a grand mechanical chronoscope that allowed its inhabitants to sense, subconsciously, the deep, fundamental rhythm of their existence. Even the faint, clean scent of the ionized air seemed to carry the whisper of this grand, living clock. High above the sprawling residential sectors, within the immense observation arc, the city offered a breathtaking, yet humbling, vista. Here, vast, curved panes of reinforced gravglass formed panoramic windows looking out into the void. It was not a place for rapid movement or loud exclamations, but for quiet contemplation. Citizens often gathered in small, silent clusters or alone, their gazes fixed on the cosmic ballet beyond. Gargantua Prime, a silent, swirling disk of warped light and shadow, dominated the view. Its event, horizon a shimmering, almost imperceptible boundary between dimensions, the distant stars appearing to drift with an impossibly slow grace, served as a poignant reminder of the true, unyielding scale of external time. A profound contrast to the bustling, yet measured, lives within chronos, this shared ritual of observation, devoid of spoken words, forged a deep, unspoken bond among the inhabitants, a collective acknowledgement of their unique, enduring existence. The very infrastructure of Chronos itself hummed with this pervasive temporal awareness. Beneath the polished walkways and above the silent, magnetic transport tubes, the city's lifeblood, recycled air, purified water, and carefully harnessed energy flowed through intricate conduits designed not just for efficiency, but for resonance. These glowing arteries, embedded within the city's architectural spine, exhibited a subtle, internal breath, a collective pulse that synchronized with the chronos time. Yet their external glow, visible through translucent panels, shimmered with a slower, almost imperceptible fluctuation. It was said that the designers had imbued the city with a soul, a grand mechanical chronoscope that allowed its inhabitants to sense, subconsciously, the deep, fundamental rhythm of their existence. Even the faint, clean scent of the ionized air seemed to carry the whisper of this grand, living clock. Morning, or what passed for it within Chronos's shielded embrace, was marked not by a sunrise, but by by the communal temporal resonance. In vast, tiered chambers bathed in the softest violet light, citizens gathered for a shared moment of silent introspection. Here, massive projection domes displayed the stretched, slow-motion external view of the black hole's distant halo and the imperceptibly drifting starfield, contrasting sharply with Chronos time. It was a practice of grounding, a gentle reminder of their place within the universe's grand, dilated expanse. Individuals would sit or recline on ergonomically sculpted surfaces, their gazes lost in the slow, cosmic ballet, feeling the subtle temporal currents ripple through the shared space. Even the communal meals were shaped by this temporal awareness. Within the refectory cascades, terraced dining areas built around gentle, bioluminescent water features, the preparation and consumption of food became a deliberate, unhurried affair. Nutrient-rich, synthesized provisions were presented with an artistry that invited slow appreciation. Conversations flowed like the gentle water, punctuated by long, comfortable silences. There was no concept of fast food here, only a deep reverence for each moment, a subtle resistance against the relentless rush that defined so much of old Earth's past. The very act of eating became a meditation, a silent acknowledgement of the preciousness of their stretched existence. The ergonomically sculpted surfaces of the temporal resonance chambers were designed to cradle the body, a gentle invitation to deep relaxation. A subtle, almost imperceptible tremor, a low-frequency hum, resonated from the very material beneath, mimicking the city's internal breath and the vast, slow vibration of its orbital mechanics. This gentle thrum served as a focal point, drawing the mind inward even as the eyes drifted across the monumental projections. These weren't mere screens. They were massive, curved lenses, perpetually receiving and reprojecting the impossibly distant, gravitationally lensed light from Gargantua Prime's distorted halo and the starfield beyond. To some, it felt like an extension of their own nervous system, a direct neural link to the cosmic clock. The violet light deepened, then softened to a rich indigo, a visual cue signifying the transition from the most intense period of communal observation to a more diffused, personal contemplation. After the gentle ebb of the temporal resonance, a different kind of light began to suffuse the residential sectors. Not the stark brilliance of a distant sun, but a carefully engineered mimicry of Earth's dawn, filtered through layers of holographic emitters and crystal lattice diffusers. This Chronos dawn was a gradual brightening, starting with soft rose and amber tones that bled into a pale, clean cyan, designed to stimulate the dormant diurnal rhythms within the human psyche. The city's central thoroughfares, previously silent, began to awaken with the faint, rhythmic pulse of magnetic transport tubes gliding by, their passage almost soundless, leaving only a subtle atmospheric displacement. Citizens, now fully emerged from their meditative state, moved with a quiet purpose, their footsteps softened by the acoustic dampening of the polished walkways. Small, self-maintaining drones, resembling flattened, luminescent discs, drifted through the air, performing silent cleaning and environmental monitoring tasks, their soft glow adding to the ambient illumination. One of the most cherished spaces within Kronos was the verdant nexus, a sprawling, multi-tiered botanical garden and agricultural complex integrated directly into the city's upper domes. Here, recycled water cascaded down translucent crystalline terraces, creating a soft, rhythmic whisper that served as the city's ambient natural soundscape. Diverse flora, carefully selected and genetically optimized for the Kronos environment, thrived under precisely calibrated spectral lighting, each leaf and petal glowing with an otherworldly vibrance. The air here was richer, carrying the clean scent of chlorophyll and damp earth, a welcome counterpoint to the ionized air of the mechanical sectors. Slow-growing mosses covered vast vertical hydroponic farms, shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that shifted over the course of the Kronos day, subtly marking the passage of time in a biological, rather than technological, fashion. Citizens often congregated here, not just for the serene atmosphere, but to observe the delicate processes of growth and renewal, a living testament to humanity's resilience and ingenuity in the void. The soft Kronos dawn now fully bathed personal living modules in a gentle, pale cyan. Within these compact, elegant spaces, individuals performed their quiet morning rituals. A hand gently traced the cool, polished surface of a nutrient synthesizer, its indicator light a reassuring, steady green. The faint aroma of rehydrated algae paste, a staple for its rich nutritional profile, mingled with the subtle, clean scent of recycled air. Some residents sat in silent contemplation, observing the faint, distant shimmer of the black hole's warped light projected onto a small, personal display, a reminder of the colossal presence outside their protective shell. Their internal clocks, tuned to the city's accelerated rhythm, prompted a slow, deliberate series of stretches designed to ease muscles from deep rest. The city's low-frequency hum, a constant companion, resonated faintly through the structural bulkheads, a palpable echo of Kronos's enduring journey. From their private alcoves, citizens began to drift towards the communal, temporal nourishment hubs. These vast, open-plan spaces were designed to foster quiet interaction, their ceilings soaring upwards, revealing intricate hydroponic arrays glowing with soft, internal bioluminescence. Here, rows of translucent algae farms and compact aeroponic units pulsed with life. Their silent cultivation, a testament to Kronos's unwavering commitment to self-sufficiency. The air in these hubs carried a faint, fresh, earthy scent, a welcome contrast to the more sterile environment of the transit tubes. Individuals moved between dispensing stations, selecting from a variety of nutrient-dense preparations, each carefully calibrated for optimal absorption in the city's unique temporal field. The soft clinking of ceramic bowls, muted by acoustic dampeners, was the loudest sound, a gentle symphony of shared, deliberate existence. Beyond the nourishment hubs, the city offered contemplation gardens, serene biomes carefully cultivated under vast, curved durasteel and bioluminescent panels. Here, slow-growing, resilient flora native to deep space research stations thrived, their leaves a deep, almost iridescent green, absorbing the ambient light. Citizens often sought these verdant sanctuaries, finding solace in the measured growth and the gentle, almost imperceptible sway of the plant life. In the heart of one such garden, a central temporal nexus obelisk stood, a smooth, obsidian-like column that subtly vibrated with the city's orbital resonance. Its surface shimmered with faint, ever-shifting patterns of gravitationally lensed light, a direct, unfiltered feed from Gargantua Prime's distorted halo. People would sit nearby, hands resting lightly on the cool stone, feeling the profound, slow pulse of existence, a grounding presence in their fast-moving relative time. After their quiet communal repasts, the citizens of Kronos began their gentle dispersion from the temporal nourishment hubs. The air, still carrying the faint, fresh scent of living hydroponics, now also held a subtle metallic tang from the polished transitways that began to hum with low, rhythmic pulses. These arteries, bathed in soft, cool cyan light, guided individuals towards their various daily engagements. Some drifted towards knowledge coves, serene alcoves designed for quiet study and contemplation of the city's vast, ever-growing data streams. Others moved towards fabrication spindles, where automated looms wove intricate biofibers for repairs and new constructions, their delicate whirring almost imperceptible against the city's deeper thrum. Within one of the knowledge coves, a temporal archivist named Elara settled into a curved, ergonomic console. Her fingers, accustomed to the delicate touch, began to navigate holographic displays that shimmered with cascading streams of data. She was reviewing the latest gravitational wave fluctuations detected near Gargantua Prime, not for alarm, but for the subtle, beautiful patterns they wove into the fabric of Kronos' existence. The data, usually a torrent of numbers, was translated by her interface into elegant, slow-moving light patterns like celestial dances. Each ripple, each minute shift, was a testament to the colossal power just beyond their protective shell, a constant reminder of the black hole's immense, silent presence. Her task was to log and analyze these patterns, ensuring the city's precise orbital calibration remained flawless, a testament to the meticulous care required for their continued survival. It was a role demanding profound patience, a deep understanding of relativistic physics, and an almost spiritual connection to the rhythms of the cosmos. Beyond the archivist's serene alcove, a public void gazer window offered a framed, filtered view of the external cosmos. Here, a small group of citizens gathered, their forms silhouetted against the filtered, warped shimmer of Gargantua Prime. The view was not direct, but a carefully calibrated projection, softened and diffused to prevent sensory overload from the sheer, mind-bending scale of the black hole. Streaks of light, bent and stretched by gravity's incredible pull, crawled across the panoramic display, creating an ever-changing, abstract artwork. It was a quiet place of shared awe and introspection, where the relative slowness of their existence was brought into sharp, yet gentle, perspective. A child, held gently in an adult's arms, pointed a tiny finger at a particularly vibrant ribbon of light, unaware of the immense forces at play, yet captivated by its silent beauty. This window was a vital link to the outside, a constant, humbling reminder of their extraordinary journey, fostering a sense of shared purpose and wonder that transcended the everyday. The hum of Kronos was a perpetual low thrum, a resonant frequency against the silent void. It was the sound of millions of systems meticulously balancing, of ancient algorithms calculating the infinitesimal shifts required to maintain their fragile dance around the black hole. Deep within its core, a network of conduits glowed with a soft, pulsing cyan, carrying calibrated energy across vast distances, each pulse timed to compensate for the relativistic flow, ensuring every internal clock across the city remained perfectly synchronized, a testament to engineered harmony. For those dwelling in the city's outer rings, where gravitational gradients were more pronounced, a subtle, almost imperceptible slippage of internal time against the city's core rhythm was a known, yet rarely discussed, phenomenon. It manifested as a whisper in the periphery of perception, a light pattern seeming to linger a fraction longer in one's vision, or a distant chime reaching the ear with an unexpected, almost gentle delay. These tiny relativistic echoes were woven into the fabric of their lives, creating a shared, unspoken understanding of their unique existence. A constant, soft reminder of the vast cosmic clock beyond. Many would gather at the grand observatory domes, not merely for scientific study, but for quiet communion with the cosmos. Here, the panoramic views of Gargantua Prime were filtered through layers of advanced shielding, transforming the black hole's immediate vicinity into a shimmering, almost ethereal halo of bent light and residual energy. Stargazers would watch the slow, majestic drift of distant nebulae, their light taking eons to reach Chronos, compressed and stretched by the immense gravity, a living, breathtaking canvas of warped spacetime. It was a meditative practice, a collective breath held in the face of infinity. For those living closest to the city's periphery, the whispers of warped time were not a defect, but an intimate companion. A sculptor, her studio nestled near the outer ring, found inspiration in the way the city's internal light streams, designed to mimic the sun's slow rise and fall, would subtly stretch and pull as they moved across a wall. The edges of a cyan beam might linger a fraction longer on a finished surface, creating an ephemeral afterimage, a ghost of light that only she, with her attuned perception, could truly appreciate. She crafted her forms not just for physical presence, but for their interaction with these temporal blurs, imbuing them with a delicate, almost elastic quality. Her latest piece, a slowly rotating kinetic sculpture of polished obsidian and glowing filigree, was designed to catch these elongated light trails, transforming the relativistic delay into a flowing dance of shimmer and shadow, a testament to the beauty found in Kronos's unique physics. The air in her studio carried the faint, rhythmic hum of the gravimetric stabilizers just beyond her transparent wall, a deeper counterpoint to the city's core thrum, grounding her in the immense forces at play. Deeper within Kronos, closer to its central axis, the temporal distortions softened, almost vanishing entirely. Here, in the great central commons, the intricate synchronization algorithms worked flawlessly, a masterpiece of relativistic engineering. Holographic fountains pulsed with perfect, crisp precision, their projected water arcing in unblemished parabolas, each droplet appearing and disappearing in perfect harmony. Citizens moved with a sense of unhurried grace, their steps echoing on polished floors without the faintest hint of a delayed reverberation. Even the light, drawn from a simulated starfield dome high above, felt stable and constant, bathing the wide plazas and communal gardens in an even, soft glow. This central core was the city's temporal anchor, a meticulously maintained bubble of normalcy, where the cosmic clock outside was gently but firmly held at bay. Families gathered in open-air cafes, their conversations flowing smoothly, undisturbed by the subtle temporal whispers that defined life on the periphery. Yet, even in the stable heart, the awareness of their unique existence persisted, a foundational element of Kronos' collective psyche. It manifested in their daily rituals, particularly the starlight contemplation, observed just after the simulated nightfall. As the starfield dome dimmed to a deep, inky navy, leaving only the distant, slow shimmer of the Gargantua Prime's distorted accretion disk, visible through specialized observation windows. The city would quiet further in communal contemplation chambers. Residents would recline on soft, luminescent mats, a gentle, pulsing cyan light guiding their breath. They would focus on the subtle, almost imperceptible drag of the outermost stars across the black, a visual meditation on the relentless, yet patient, flow of cosmic time. This shared practice was not about fear, but about connection, a humble acknowledgement of their small, engineered sanctuary against the infinite, a collective grounding in the grand, relativistic dance, unifying those who felt the temporal whispers distinctly with those who experienced the core's unwavering stability. It was a time for reflection, for understanding their place within the grand, slow rhythm of the universe. Moving beyond the quiet cafes, the city's arterial pathways unfurled, broad and luminous, guiding the unhurried flow of life. Sleek, silent transit pods, their surfaces reflecting the soft glow, glided along unseen magnetic conduits, transporting citizens and supplies with effortless precision. These intricate networks were more than just transport. They were vital veins, subtly adjusting their internal temporal fields to ensure a seamless journey, even as they moved through sections where the temporal current subtly tugged and pulled. The soft, almost imperceptible hum of these systems was a constant lullaby, a testament to Kronos' complex, yet harmonious existence. High above these pathways, nestled within vast, crystalline domes, lay the hydroponic biospheres. Here, artificial sunlight, filtered through layers of atmospheric processors, nourished verdant forests of bioluminescent flora. The air, rich with the scent of ozonated earth and rare blossoms, circulated gently, a constant, fresh breath for the colossal station. Pathways of shimmering, moss-invited quiet strolls, while luminous creepers traced delicate patterns across vaulted ceilings, their soft, pulsing light illuminating hidden alcoves and serene pools. These green sanctuaries were not merely functional. They were living artworks, a vital reminder of the organic world, meticulously sustained against the stark backdrop of deep space. Deeper still, where the city's structure began to curve gently towards its outer shell, specialized observation decks offered a breathtaking, yet humbling, vista. Through reinforced, multi-layered duraglass, the velvet black of space stretched infinitely, studded with distant, diamond-like stars, and there, dominating the view, a swirling, shimmering disk of warped light, Gargantua Prime. Its gentle, gravitational embrace was both the city's reason for being and its constant, silent overseer. The light from its accretion disk, softened to a distant violet shimmer, cast long, slow-moving shadows across the observation platforms. A subtle, temporal dance played out in cosmic scale, a constant reminder of the unique physics defining their home beyond the verdant biospheres and the bustling, yet placid, central districts. Kronos held its deepest secrets, its most profound connections to the void. These were the stellar observation decks, vast, crystalline enclosures that curved gently outward, offering panoramic, unobstructed views of Gargantua Prime. Here, the city's soft, internal light dimmed to a respectful hush, allowing the cosmic tapestry to unfold in its full, awe-inspiring grandeur. From these silent vantage points, citizens would often gather, not in boisterous crowds, but in quiet, contemplative clusters, their gazes drawn to the distant, shimmering event horizon. It was a spectacle of profound stillness, a place where the subtle temporal currents of their existence felt most palpable, deep within Kronos's meticulously engineered core. Far from the tranquil vistas lay the temporal harmonics chambers. These weren't places of public gathering, but highly specialized environments where the intricate dance of time was carefully orchestrated. Within these hexagonal rooms, shimmering conduits of focused energy pulsed with a soft, steady cyan glow, feeding into massive, crystalline arrays. Holographic displays floated in midair, depicting complex temporal patterns, graceful sine waves, and fluctuating energy fields, all meticulously monitored by silent, dedicated technicians. The air in these chambers carried a faint, almost imperceptible ozone scent, mixed with the clean, sterile aroma of advanced technology, a stark contrast to the organic richness of the biospheres. It was here that Kronos maintained its internal temporal stability, a delicate equilibrium against the crushing forces of the black hole's gravity. Emerging from these technological heartlands, the city branched into its quieter, more intimate spaces, the residential modules. These weren't vast, open-plan homes, but thoughtfully designed, compact havens, each a miniature world of peace and personal expression. Soft, diffused lighting, often emanating from integrated bioluminescent wall panels or gentle ceiling strips, filled these spaces with a perpetual, gentle twilight. Personal hydroponic units, often no larger than a small bookshelf, glowed softly with miniature edible gardens, their vibrant leaves adding splashes of green and an earthy aroma to the otherwise clean, recycled air. Cushioned nooks and ergonomically designed furniture invited relaxation, while data slates filled with historical accounts or new art forms lay peacefully on smooth, cool surfaces. A low, soothing ambient hum, a blend of the city's life support and subtle acoustic dampeners, created a cocoon of stillness, allowing for deep rest and contemplative solitude. Families and individuals found comfort in these structured, yet flexible, environments, their lives flowing in a calm, unhurried rhythm, perfectly attuned to the slow, enduring pulse of Chronos itself.